Hello everyone, this tutorial is for the Bio 105 Lab Exercise 3, Sampling with Transects in the Coastal Forest Ecosystem. This tutorial is going to run through how you should be handling and graphing your data. So your instructor is going to compile your data. What we're going to do is we are going to take all of the transects and all of the data from the 0 and 5 meter intercepts are going to be combined, and all of the data from the 15 and 20 meter intercepts are going to be combined. The reason we do that is because we're considering the 0 to 5 meter area to be well in the disturbed area, and we're considering the 15 to 20 meter to be well into the undisturbed area. So what you'll get, it'll look a lot like this. It'll have the individual types of plants and their numbers. And Excel will already figure out for you the relative abundance, which is relatively simple. All right, the formula is just small n, which is the number of individuals, divided by big N, which is the total number of individuals in the sample. So that will generate a relative abundance for every one of the species that we document. The rest of these numbers are there to calculate your Simpson's diversity index. This isn't any different from the last lab. So the math is going to be the same. So that would end up the disturbed and the undisturbed area will end up with a Simpson's diversity index. In this case, we can look at those diversity indexes and see that our disturbed area has a much lower diversity index than our undisturbed area. What we also want to do with this is we want to visualize it. So what we need to do is, if you click on this new tab, we can go ahead and we can copy. All right, so that was just right-clicking and hitting copy. Or you can click on it and hit Control and then C. And then we're going to come over here and we're going to paste that in. You can do the same with the data. So we're interested in relative abundance here. All right, so we're going to copy and then we're going to paste. Okay, so there is an issue here because this is giving you a warning message. What you really need to do is you can't just do regular cut and paste because that is a formula on the other tab. So we need to come down here and the one that says 1, 2, 3 is going to just paste in the values. So we come over here. So for that first species, we come over here and we see, oh, this is also in the undisturbed. And so we're also going to go ahead and copy that one. If it wasn't in the undisturbed area, we would just put a 0 there. All right, so what we could do is we could have you sit there while I go through all of this and transfer all the data. But what I'm going to do is through the magic of editing, I'm just going to snap my fingers. And all of our data has been transferred over. So you can see with the black huckleberry and the rhodora, there was none of that in the disturbed area, so we just put a 0 there. So anytime that happens, if you've got a species that's present in one and not the other, you just put a 0. And if you run out of space in this little box, you can continue to keep filling in. So once we have that added in, we'd like to visualize it. So what we're going to do is we're going to go and we are going to highlight our data. We're going to come up here to insert. We want to put in a chart. So we're going to start at the top left over here, and we're going to put in a column or bar chart. I'm just going to choose the first one, and there is some of our data. Now, this isn't done yet. For one thing, a lot of our data isn't labeled, and there's some stuff in there we don't need. So let's get rid of the stuff we don't need. So you got a couple ways to do that. You can come over here, you click on the chart itself, come over here, and you can just unclick on the things like the chart title and the grid lines that we don't need. You can also do that by coming up here where it says Design under Chart Tools. is you only see this when this is selected. And what you're going to do is you can add chart element over here, and you can either add or get rid of the things that you don't need. We also need to add in something. Let's see. We're going to go with axis titles. All right, so we're primary horizontal, primary vertical. So this is going to be the plant type. And working vertically is always fun. This is going to be relative abundance. Okay, so we've got our axes labeled, but we still don't know what these are here, right? Oh, you can also do axes here if you wanted to add your axis titles in. All right, you can click on them and select them. All right. So what we need to do is change what these labels are in our horizontal axis. Two ways to do that. One, you can right-click or command-click on the chart itself and go to Select Data, or you can come back up here to Design, and there is a tab here for Select Data. We want to change the horizontal category, so we're going to click Edit for the horizontal category. We're going to come over here to where the names of our species are. We're going to go ahead and select those. Right? So I clicked and dragged to select those, and now I'm hitting OK. Now I can come over here and hit OK, and there are our different plant types. So with this, we can go ahead and take a look and see that our relative abundance of our different plants changes quite a bit between the disturbed and the undisturbed areas. In this case, our undisturbed area has a much higher diversity, and our disturbed area is dominated almost exclusively by grasses. Well, thank you for listening. We'll see you in lab.